In the early days of Masterpiece collecting, I didn't know the difference between Fanstoys, Fans Project, and X-Transbots. But things have changed a lot since the early days of Masterpiece collecting. And today I want to talk to you about Fanstoys and how Fanstoys has changed since the early days of Fanstoys. So we're going to talk about how things have changed with their price, their pricing, and their strategies that they utilize with their pricing. We're going to talk about how aesthetic has changed, how the look of the figures has changed. And yes, they have. I have very specific examples that I want to cite. We're also going to talk about availability and how hard it is to get Fanstoys, how hard it is to secure pre-orders, and how come some figures are lingering on the market at higher prices. And we're also going to talk about who specifically they are targeting. Who are the Fanstoys customers? And I think that's the bigger discussion. We're going to talk about all this coming up. Okay, starting out, I'm going to frame the conversation with sort of an umbrella of a topic here that most people have related these to cars. So when you look at, say, Fanstoys is more like a Lamborghini. And there's reasons why, because first off, it's a higher price item. It's very high price. It's elusive to a lot of people out there. It looks really good. It looks amazing. It turns heads. A lot of people, their eyes are drawn to a Lamborghini when you see it out there. Your eyes are drawn to Fanstoys products on a shelf. Also, for that, these are not for everyone. Not everybody's in the market for a Lamborghini. Not everybody's going to cough up the money for it or can cough up the money for it. And also, it's not a daily driver. It's not something that you're going to pull a Fanstoys figure off the shelf and flip it back and forth 3 times every single day. It's definitely not a daily driver. In fact, most Lamborghinis that I see have less than 5,000 miles on them, especially even the 80s versions, the older models. They only have like 5,000 miles on them. It's kind of crazy. Also, they're just not really that common. You don't see Lamborghinis everywhere, every day. Well, it depends on what part of the country you live in or what part of the world you live in. But for the most part, they're far less common than most other cars out there. So, if Fanstoys is like a Lamborghini, then I'm trying to say here that maybe a Corvette is in the realm of X-Transbots and MMC. Corvette it's still relatively attainable to a lot of people, but it's outprices a lot of people in the market. See, not everybody's out looking to spend $100 or more on a figure, and not a lot of people are looking to pay $80,000, $90,000 for a Corvette. Also with that, the X-Transbots and MMC have a bit of a premium feel versus some other ones out there, so I'm putting them in this category. Other things about a Corvette in relation to it, it's still sort of a daily driver, but not everybody that owns it uses it as a daily driver. They are still a little bit less common than some other cars, but they are still more common than, say, a Lamborghini. And it's still not for everyone. Not everybody's in the market for a Corvette. Not everybody's in the market for $100 figures. But the point with this is that if somebody's looking for a Lamborghini, they're not going to settle for a Corvette. If I'm in the market for a Lamborghini, I'm not going to say, well, I'll just buy a Corvette. Instead, no, they're going to keep looking for that Lamborghini, pay the extra money for the Lamborghini, and not the Corvette. Now, Hasbro, on the other hand, is kind of like a Toyota Corolla. Kind of a lower-priced vehicle. I mean, it's kind of sad because these things cost in the high 20s, if not low 30,000 range for a newer one. But used ones you can get in the 20,000 range, even more modern or later models. But looking at it, there's something about Hasbro, it's there for almost the entire market. Like anybody out there, they're supporting everybody because of the price point and sort of with the aesthetic. They are decent looking figures, they look okay, but they are definitely not $100 premium look, and they're not $100 premium feel. These are very common. You can score almost all of the regular releases pretty easy. Whether you go into your store and find them, you have to hunt a little bit, or whether you buy them online or whatever, but there are so many more vendors that sell them, online retailers that sell Hasbro product than, say, X-Transbots, MMC, or Fanstoys. And then these are definitely daily drivers. You can drive the wheels off of your Toyota Corolla. You can transform your Hasbro figures back and forth 5 times a day. And for the most part, the majority of them won't break or you won't have any issues with them. And one more funny fact, people like to have upgrade kits for their Toyota Corolla. They like to add ground effects. They like to add lights to them. They like to add stuff. And it's not just a Toyota Corolla. I mean, you could put so many other Honda Civic. You can put a lot of other cars into this category. I just had to pick one to kind of make the point. So getting into price and talking about Fanstoys and their pricing. Now, they've done a few things in the past that kind of show they want to be a premium, top-tier company. They want their product to be extremely high-priced. They want their product to be very high quality and to feel quality, look quality on the shelf, and so to support that said very high price. And they've been trying to jump tiers. They took 2020 as the opportunity to do that, and yes, some costs went up, but Fanstoys, they skyrocketed their price versus other companies. So getting into this, we had Outrider and Berserk, and looking at these two. Okay, so when you look at the Outrider price was about $100, and then they made all retailers take those prices down, put them back up for $150. Same thing with the Berserk. They made them take all of the $150 prices down, put it back up at $220. And this is old news. And by the time they actually come out, are they going to do it again? Are they going to up the tiers again? Are they going to take the sub $100 figures that are mini bots, put them to $130? Are they going to be taking over the $150 slot soon? The $150 going to be going closer to $200? And will the $220s be getting closer to $300? I think the evidence of that is Tesla. Tesla is at some places they're asking $250. Now, I can't really 100% put that on Fanstoys, but we will talk about the retailers and their role in all of this also. But prices going up is crazy. So with the high price, and we're going to talk about availability, but the hard to find availability of Tesla 2.0, X-Transbots might just cost block Fanstoys when it comes to Perceptor. So they're coming out with theirs at $130 and versus $220. That's a big price difference, almost $100 price difference. But when you look at the aesthetic and side by side, it's really close. It's going to be a close race on these two, and in fact, there might not even be a clear winner at the end of this race. It's just going to be, what do you prefer? And of course, people that like to drive the Lamborghinis are going to pay the extra money, and people that are happy with the Corvette are just going to be happy with their Corvette. So one of the biggest changing in pricing tiers for Fanstoys was when they put out their Skyfire, Jetfire, or Phoenix. And the thing was that it was $220. We got hit with a $220 figure, and I didn't jump on it right away. And I felt like it was too much. And I seriously felt like it was too much, and I held off. I waited for another run, and I ended up paying too much down the road. I'll admit that. I paid too much for mine. But they definitely upped the game when they made this figure and started charging $220. But then they tried to up it again with another figure. So their Terminus Giganticus or their Omega Supreme, they came out with that figure, and I think it was pushing $450 or something, or maybe even higher when it was at release. And then we come to find out that we were getting price gouged, because when DX9 put theirs up, and their version was going to be like under $300, Fanstoys dropped there by $100. They dropped the price down to around $350, something like that. Now, Fanstoys were sold in parts A and parts B. DX9 sold it all in one box, and so that was the difference in there. So the pricing was different on each set and different at each place you went to. So getting the exact price, I just remember it adding up to around $450 for Fanstoys. Then they dropped it about $100. Well, DX9 was still cheaper overall, and is still around, and is still getting reissued to this day. But that's kind of evidence that they've been trying to up the tiers of pricing all along. Also, when it comes to pricing, I want to point out a few things about these pricing. These reissue Dinobots that are coming out at $300, the reissue Insecticons that came out at double the original price, and now they're going on sale. They are being clearanced out or just on sale, or whatever you want to say, at a lot of different retailers that were charging, in my opinion, too much. And yes, Shozi's got some on sale too. And they're probably going to say, well, this is our Black Friday sale or whatever. No, this is their get it down to the normal price or close to the normal price. They're still not down to the normal price, but some of them are getting closer. And with that, this overpriced, high-priced, it's not really selling to the community, is it? I just want to ask, how can Bad Cube put out their figures that are just reissues, just straight up reissues, that didn't really do anything different, and they're the same price, right? Fanstoys puts out reissues, and they ask twice the price. I don't get it. Like, why is this a thing? Why is this going on? They live in the same world that Fanstoys lives in, and they put out for almost the same price, maybe $5 more a figure And they're doing it with not just these guys, Insecticons and other ones. And a lot of people will say, well, it's because they're making smaller figures. That is a possibility to it. But still, double the price on some of these figures doesn't make any sense. Next, we want to talk about aesthetic. Fanstoys has always been able to blend real world with toon. So it could have kind of both looks. You could feel like it is very real world, but you can also feel like it looked like it walked out of the cartoon at the same time. And a lot of that has to do with metallic paint. The way they implement their paint and their metallic paint. And a lot of people were not very happy that Sheridan did not get a metallic paint job. And there's a whole group of other people that don't like metallic paint job on certain figures like Sheridan. So for whatever reason, Fanstoys went with more of a flat paint on Sheridan. And if you look on the left, that's what we got. On the right is what we thought we were going to get. So that was one of those things. They're shifting to more toon. They're going from more real world or balanced to more toon. And they didn't just do it with this figure. They did it with a few others. So Dune Rider is kind of plain. Kind of flat. Yeah, there's a little bit of shine to him. He's got a bit of a sheen to him. But not what we're expecting from Fanstoys figures, and he does look a lot more toon. Now, I'm a hyper toon kind of guy, and even I feel like Dune Rider looks good, but is a little bit boring, lacking the paint job. Starts to make me wonder, though, will down the road they reissue some of these flatter paint jobs with a more metallic paint job and give them some sort of a letter at the end of it or something like that? And the most recent one I've been hearing about going to toon is, of course, the Robot Paradise, which is Fanstoys, their Acoustic Wave Soundwave, and I think it looks good, but I can see where a lot of the real-world elements are lacking. They still have some of that in there, though. Some of that in there with the buttons and around the chest and on the feet and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people are saying they don't like, say, the straight-up white, and it would have been a silver on the arms and the thighs and those kinds of things, and that's kind of where Fanstoys is going more toon. They're aligning with Takara, and Takara still is the leader, although sometimes we think Fanstoys is. They are aligning with Takara in a way, and that's just the way it is, and they're more toon. So next we're going to talk about availability of these, and pre-orders sell out pretty fast, but then they pop back up at higher prices, or when the items come back in stock, then there's like a second batch that's going up at a higher price. So retailers are starting to dig into more profit. So if you can secure an original pre-order, you get a good price and you're happy. If you're not one of those lucky people that get that, then you're paying a little bit more down the road, even to the retailers, and almost to the point that retailers have figured out how to eliminate scalping of Fanstoys because they keep them in stock for so long, because they up the price themselves instead of the secondary market upping the price. So with all of that going on, even the reissues, the ones that people were paying $600 for in the past, getting reissued now for $300, which is too much still for a reissue, they're lingering on the market because of the price. And now we have some availability, but then again, price is an issue. The word on the street was we had availability issues, and it was hard to get Fanstoys, and you'd go to most places, and there's still a lot of very Fanstoys, but like 3, and they're the new ones, higher price ones or something like that, that just got released. And with all of that, I don't see that they've lowered their production at all. I feel like they're heavily producing. And when it comes to the reissues, this is proof that past reissues were held back stock. And when they do a full production run, it's almost like the market's flooded right now with Fanstoys reissues. So all of that said, I don't think they're producing less. I don't think when they do production runs, they're going, oh, let's just do 1,000 instead of 5,000. I don't think that's it at all. I just don't see any evidence of that. Although I've heard several people, I can't say 100, that's 2 or 3 people that talk about this, that say they know something about it. I don't agree with it. I just don't see it. There's zero evidence proving it. It's just they want to produce as much as they have been. They just want to make more money. So who is Fanstoys targeting? Well, in the early days, they were trying to get as many customers as they could. They wanted everybody. Now, they're only targeting a small group of collectors. The collector elites. Those people out there that are willing to spend more money, in a lot of cases, double the money as others. And the thing about that is, that's not always bad. I got to tell you, I'm not in on the 3.0 stuff. That's pretty expensive. I'm not in on Fanstoys. That stuff's pretty expensive. But Fanstoys themselves are trying to put out lower price items, and so is 3.0. They're all trying to get that whole lower price point niche also. But Fanstoys seems like they don't want to have anything to do with the lower price point at all. They just want the high price point. They don't care if everybody buys it. And again, the retailers are going to buy them all up, whether or not the fans buy them at those prices. And in the past, they've tried to control the market through artificial scarcity and holding back product and those kinds of things. But it's tactics that they use. They make a great product. I love the way their product looks. They are the best most of the time, but not all of the time. And nothing is perfect in this world. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of this. Have you noticed Fanstoys changing over the years? Are you in on every Fanstoys product no matter the cost? And have you just quit on Fanstoys because it's just too hard to get some of them and some of the prices are too unattainable? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to Outrider and Berserk out.